The sun in our heart contains a map of our values, which guides us to follow our path in life. So here's how it works. We're living along, following our path like this. And when we're on our path, we feel satisfied with life. We feel fulfilled, inspired, connected to ourself, present in the moment, and on purpose. And then, inevitably, we stray off our path like this. And when we stray off, we feel dissatisfied. We feel bored or sad or frustrated or full of fear. And when this dissatisfaction happens, this is a sign to us that something in our life needs to change. We need to either change the actual situation or we need to change the perception of it, the way we're thinking about it. So here's an example. Cheryl Paul in The Wisdom of Anxiety, which is one of my favorite books in the entire world, along with Anita Johnston's Eating in the Light of the Moon. She talks about intrusive thoughts. So an intrusive thought is any obsessive, reoccurring thought like this that is pulling us away from feeling what is actually going on inside of us. So obviously intrusive thoughts are from the cloud. And what they do is they act like a Band-Aid to cover up pain. It's usually old pain that really has little to do with the present situation at all. Now, when we are lost in thought, then we are in our minds, and then we don't have to feel our uncomfortable feelings that are happening in our bodies. So examples of intrusive thoughts are, I have no friends, something bad is going to happen, I live in the wrong house or the wrong town, I'm going to get cancer, or I am lazy and I need to work harder, I need to do more, I need to be more. Now, Cheryl explains that one of the most common intrusive thoughts is, I'm not in love with my partner anymore. So let's just imagine that you were to have that repetitive thought, that I don't love my partner anymore. I don't love my partner anymore. Then you would most likely feel dissatisfied with your relationship. And this is an indication, yes, that something in your life needs to change. You are off your path. So either you need to change the situation, which could mean communicating with your partner, going to counseling together, or eventually actually ending the partnership. Or you need to change your perception, which means you could go within and feel and acknowledge the uncomfortable emotions that are yearning from your attention, for your attention deep within. So the intrusive thought becomes this warning sign, like a light in your car that the gas is low, that you need to care for yourself with curiosity and compassion. So yes, perhaps the relationship you have with your partner is at a point that it needs to end. And so with some time and reflection deep in your heart, you might decide to change the situation and end it. Or perhaps when you go within and you feel your emotions around your relationship, you discover this deep-seated feeling of abandonment. Like, yes, your partner has been away a lot lately for work, for sure, but the feeling that you're feeling now feels old. Like, it's a familiar feeling that you've had since childhood. And it guides you to learn more about your old pain. And perhaps you begin to take care of that sad child within who feels abandonment from so long ago. And through the acknowledgement of your feelings, your perception seems to change. I feel like that's what happens. It's like you feel your feelings and then the thoughts change last. And you learn that you want to communicate with your partner about what's been going on for you. And listen to what they have to say, of course. Then perhaps with those changes, your relationship may gradually return back on its path like this. So you're on your path, you stray, you make the change, and you get back on your path. Now, how do you know what to do in each situation? Your heart knows. It does. And the better relationship you develop with your heart, the more easily you'll be able to notice its guidance again and again. So remember at the beginning of the course, we talked about gradually developing a relationship with your body, your emotions, and your heart after ignoring them for all these years. Well, at first it's difficult to decipher the cloud's thoughts from the heart's guidance. But over time, with practice, you get better and better at knowing the difference and deciphering the difference between, okay, these are my stressful thoughts, these are my emotions, and this is my heart from deep within, the guidance from deep within. The more you practice, the better you get. And it's a gradual process. So here we go. You make the change, and then you get back on your path, and then you feel satisfied. Now, this is living with integrity. And inevitably, because this is life, you will veer off your path and you will feel dissatisfied, determine what needs to change and get back on your path. And then off and back on and off and back on. And each time you learn more about yourself and you strengthen your ability to return home. Now, a lot of people, due to listening to the fearful thoughts from their cloud, live outside their path for years and years, for even a lifetime. And the body and heart breaks down. It's always trying to tell them to change, but if they keep ignoring it, then they start to break down. So, for example, the individual who's in like this soul-sucking job, who stays in it for fear of losing the big paycheck. And they live that life for so long, and then they start to develop anxiety and migraines and eventually high blood pressure. Or another example would be a teenager who chases this certain group of friends because they just know that if they could be part of this crew, then their social life would be secure and they would never have to feel alone. But in the chasing, they're chasing over here, they close the door to the true and respectful friends that are actually right in front of their face. Now, after chasing for quite some time and feeling disrespected and rejected and full of negative thoughts about themselves, then they finally give up and start to nurture the friends that had been right in front of them all along. So they get back on their path and their heart opens to the real friendships that are on their path and they feel satisfied. Now, life inevitably throws us curveballs that have us straying off our path again and again. And in the straying is where the learning lies. It is where you develop strength and integrity to return back to yourself again and again. And when we learn this, then we can try to relax into the journey a bit more. And as the curveballs come, stay grounded and connected to our wise self deep within. That Glennon Doyle says, knows we have the strength to do hard things.